자연이
While we humans sleep, there are mysterious movements of countless animals in nature. To witness these movements is to realize the importance of protecting these natural wonders.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 DMZ 생태연구소
My name is Kim Sung-ho, and I'm the director of the DMZ Ecology Research Institute. I've been conducting research with this institute for nearly 20 years.
네, 안녕하세요, 교수님.
Hello, Professor. I really enjoyed the crane dance. As someone who studies and observes red-crowned cranes in Korea, I was so moved by the performance. Can you tell me a little bit about the crane dance?
If you observe the cranes during the dance, you can see that they face each other, just as North and South Korea are facing each other. In the end, they come together and become free. So this crane dance symbolizes freedom and love.
생태적으로 보게 되면 이 친구들이 다른 새하고 좀
As an ecologist, I'm trying to protect the real red-crowned cranes. Their habitat is being threatened, and there are only 2,000 of them left in the world. To see your artistic interpretation of the crane's behavior can help raise awareness for the next generation. Thank you for sharing your art today.
네, 감사합니다.
Yes, thank
네,
you.
감사합니다. 지금
The demilitarized zone takes up only 1 or 2% of the entire land of South Korea. However, 50% of endangered species in Korea can be found inside the DMZ. This is an amazing statistic. There are more than 70 kinds of protected and endangered plants and animals living in the area. Some of these Northeast Asian animals can't live anywhere other than the DMZ because the wetlands are being overdeveloped in Korea, China, and Russia.
저들이 그 민동선 들어가기 전에
There is no GPS inside the civilian control zone. Since it is a very important military area, we have to get permission in advance whenever we enter. It took me 4 years to know the roads in the CCZ and another 5 or 6 years to learn where the animals are around the DMZ.
고라니는 사슴과 동물 중에서 굉장히 또 재미있는 동물 중
Water deer are one of the funniest animals in the deer family. They are an ancient species, less evolved than other deer. That's why they don't have antlers or patterns on their tails. They only live in Korea and some parts of China near the Yangtze River. Within the DMZ, you can find water deer along the riverside. And because the demilitarized zone has very little human interference, wild animals like the water deer can move around freely. Before the dawn, my students and I went to a place called Togyo Reservoir in Churuwan, South Korea. The area is unusual because it's home to one of the largest gatherings of roosting cranes in the world. There were about 4,000 white-naped and red-crowned cranes and millions of wild geese that were sleeping there. Cranes are migratory birds that winter in Korea. If they are able to safely spend winter in our country, they are more likely to succeed in breeding when they return to the Amur River in Russia. At the Hantan River Basin, we saw various kinds of birds. There were cranes, geese, mallard ducks, crows, and white-tailed eagles. The cranes like to fly there to feed because there are lots of spots where the water hasn't frozen over. People eventually found out about this place and started coming here to watch the birds. There are too many white-tailed eagles here in such a small space. I see 5 of them. Crows and white-tailed eagles share the same type of food, so that's why you see them all together. But because of the presence of the eagles, the cranes are keeping their distance. They're scared. You also work in and around the DMZ like myself, but we must have very different experiences. What do you normally see?
저는 이 동식물 보다가는
I tend to focus on the military activities around the DMZ rather than the nature.
When I go out to take photos, I see water deer running between the tanks and birds flying nearby.
저도 기억에 DMZ
The most memorable photo I took in the DMZ was one of cranes flying over a guard post. Just looking at that photo made me realize how the word peace can be explained with just one image.
For me, one of the most agonizing questions is how North and South Korea can share the DMZ area and use it as a tool for reconciliation. I realize that, at its most basic, we share the same wind, water, grass, and bird life. So with that in mind, I want to protect the biodiversity of the DMZ. To heal the wounds of separation